So it's an important topic, and I started my video journey from this topic. It's about ARDS associated with COVID-19, and after that you can solve the QBank on ARDS, and you can solve all the MCQs with great concept. So starting this, I want to tell you that COVID-19, the leading cause of death is ARDS. The leading cause of death is ARDS. It's followed by sepsis and followed by some heart ailments and followed by secondary infection. But that's not important. What you have to remember, ARDS is the leading cause followed by sepsis. Now, when a COVID-19 patient develops an ARDS, you have to give ventilation. You have to give ventilation, and the criteria for this ventilation is important, and that can be asked. So what is the ventilation criteria? It must be a prone ventilation with a low tidal volume and high positive end expiratory pressure. That's important. So it's a low tidal volume, high PEP. That's important. Why low tidal volume? Just to reduce the barotrauma. Just to reduce the barotrauma, we have a low tidal volume, and high PEP increases the alveolar recruitment and it gives the good oxygenation. So you have to give high PEP. So what you have to remember? Ventilation criteria: low tidal volume, high PEP. Now come to before going to the further in ARDS, just quick look at the respiratory failure, because it's important for NEET. There are 4 types of respiratory failure: type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4. In type 1, there is mainly a diffusion defect. There is a diffusion defect. So oxygen cannot be diffused from the alveolus to the artery. So obviously there will be hypoxemia. But carbon dioxide level, it may be normal or less. But remember, it never be high. So CO2 level may be normal or low, but it never be high in type 1. That's only you have to remember. Type 1, diffusion defect, less oxygen, carbon dioxide may be normal. Type 2, it's mainly a problem in ventilation. So we said it's a ventilation defect. And if there is no ventilation, there is less ventilation, carbon dioxide cannot be washed out. So the major thing here, there will be a high CO2, and that is an important thing. In type 2, there will be high CO2. Obviously, there will be less O2. There is no doubt in that. But what is the difference between type 1 and type 2? In type 2, you will get more CO2. In type 1, you will get less CO2. Now there are many causes of type 1 and type 2. You can remember type 1 is mainly, the causes are mainly related with lung, like interstitial lung disease or like pneumonia or like asthma, acute severe asthma. They may be the cause of type 1. In type 2, there is a problem in ventilation. A patient cannot be respirating properly. Inspirating, expirating, there is a problem. So obviously there may be some injury in the respiratory center, in the brainstem, in the pons, in the medulla, or there may be some muscle injury or the problem in the ribs, like kyphoscoliosis, ankylosing spondylitis. So this type of things, or it can be like COPD, where is a problem in inspirating or expirating, or like some foreign body. So this is the causes of type 2. Now type 3, what you have to remember, you just have to remember in type 3, the main cause is the lung atelectasis, and it occurs during the perioperative period. So that is the key point in type 3. There will be the question giving the history. He is in the OT, there is a surgery going on, and suddenly there is a respiratory failure. And remember, perioperative period, the respiratory failure is obviously the type 3. Now come type 4, it is due to shock. So you see any history of MI, there is low perfusion, low volume, and you can get, it's a shock, and in shock, the respiratory failure we can see, it's a type 4. So that's it. Now going to the ARDS proper. Now ARDS has many names, like blast lung, like shock lung, like diffuse alveolar damage, or like non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema. I will come to it later, but there are many names, many synonyms of ARDS, like blast lung, shock lung, diffuse alveolar damage, and non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema. There are many causes of ARDS, but let's Let's look at the few, like the lung causes like pneumonia or aspiration of gastric content like that, or it can be toxic inhalation injury, or it can be some indirect causes. It can be some indirect causes like, very importantly, sepsis, trauma, drug, and most importantly, pancreatitis. Pancreatitis is one of the major cause, pancreatitis. So we have to remember this, pancreatitis, it's very, very important. So now come to a clinical case. There is a history of pancreatitis. Within 24 hours of admission, patient develops this type of chest X-ray. There is a hypoxemia. Go to the Berlin definition of ARDS. There are 3 points. One, it must be acute. There will be bilateral diffuse infiltrate, and there will be less oxygen. So in this question, there is a history of 24-hour admission. There is this picture. So obviously it's acute presentation. There is less oxygen and there is diffuse alveolar infiltrate. Obviously the diagnosis is none other than ARDS, obviously. And history of pancreatitis helps you to pinpoint the diagnosis of ARDS. Now there are some differential diagnoses like pulmonary embolism, but pulmonary embolism, it needs prolonged bed rest. Prolonged bed rest after surgery, there is no, it's acute in case of ARDS. History of pneumonia, hospital acquired pneumonia, it's generally after 48 hours. It's not acute as that. So pneumonia you can differentiate by the time that is given, whether it's acute or after 48 hours, because hospital acquired pneumonia, it's after 48 hours. It can be, this picture can be due to left ventricular failure, but again, this history of pancreatitis will help you to rule out that it's an ARDS. Now there is a criteria of mild, moderate and severe. In mild, the criteria is between 200 to 300. In moderate, the PaO2 FiO2 ratio is 100 to 200. And severe, it is less than 100. So remember that. So that is the criteria. If it's 100, then it's a severe. If it's 200, it's a moderate. And if it's more than 200 to less than equal to 300, it's mild. So that's it. That's the criteria. 200 to 300 is mild, 100 to 200 is moderate, and less than 100 is severe. There are some associated findings like pulmonary capillary wedge pressure. It's less than 18. One thing is, you have to remember that left atrial pressure, it is normal in case of ARDS. And pulmonary artery, the compliance get reduced, but the pressure get increased. There are some associated findings I want to tell you. Pulmonary capillary wedge pressure is less than 18, and it's a very important point. Why? Because it will differentiate between the cardiogenic and non-cardiogenic cause of pulmonary edema. If it's more than 18, it must be some cardiogenic cause. If it's less than 18, it is due to ARDS, like lung causes. So that is the important thing. So pulmonary capillary wedge pressure less than 18, ARDS more than 18, it's cardiogenic cause. Last point, some COVID, you have to remember the lymphocytopenia occurs and some mild thrombocytopenia occurs in case of COVID-19. It's an important point. You may think the lymphocyte level may increase, but it's actually not. Its level is decreased. The enzyme level like LDH and transamine is increased, and it's an hypercoagulable state. So PT, APTT, FDP, all is increased in case of COVID-19. So just to summarize the thing, I want to tell you the leading cause of death in COVID-19 is ARDS. You need a prone ventilation of a low tidal volume, high PEEP, type 1 respiratory failure, diffusion defect, low O2, low CO2. Type 2, ventilation defect, low O2, high CO2. Type 3, perioperative period respiratory failure. Type 4, due to shock. ARDS, acute presentation, less oxygen, bilateral diffuse infiltrate. Maybe a history of pancreatitis, trauma, drug overdose and sepsis. There may be a history like that. Mild 200 to 300, moderate 100 to 200, severe less than equal to 100. So that is the criteria of ARDS. And PCWP, pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, if it's more than 18, think about a cardiogenic cause. If it's less than 18, think about ARDS. So that's it. That's why I want to tell all about this.